Plaintiff Terry Vidito was married to the defendant for 14 years, but he's suing because he loaned the defendant money for their 18-year-old daughter to have surgery on her jaw, and he has yet to be repaid. Defendant Abigail Vidito says her marriage to Terry fell apart due to infidelity and the fact that he wanted her to quit coaching cheerleading. Abigail is countersuing for breach of contract and emotional distress.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Start with you, sir.
So, Abigail and I used to be married for 14 years, I think. I lose track of time.
Starting when? What year?
This is surprising.
Abby?
You remember the year?
Yeah, it was 2003.
He does too. He's just playing crazy just to try and hurt your feelings.
Yeah.
All right, 03, you all married, and how was that?
It was fine.
Okay, good. So let me hear from you. Maybe you can expand on things a little.
Well, he doesn't remember when we got married, so that kind of sets up the marriage. But yeah, we were married, got together when I was young, 18. We had 4 kids, tried to make it work. It didn't work.
How were things going? What went wrong? What were the problems?
I just really couldn't make him happy, and there was some infidelity, and
That's a long time.
a lot of traveling, so it just didn't work.
Okay. All right. And there was no incident that ended it in particular?
The incident was he wanted me to quit coaching cheerleading, and I just couldn't.
Okay.
I drew the line at some point, as silly as it sounds. That's what it was.
All right. Any other comments from you regarding the marriage and divorce?
No.
All right. You're suing for $2,400. How does she owe you that?
In November of 2020, she needed a loan to get some surgery procedure done on our daughter because her jaw was broke, but the procedure was cosmetic. And I tried to get my daughter to contact me about it. And I wanted her to share some responsibility in the debt for the company that she was keeping. And she would never contact me. So Abigail, my ex-wife, wanted to just get the money, wanted me to just help pay it. I said no, she has to have some responsibility in this issue. She's going to either talk to me and repay the loan back to me for the money, or you can just borrow the money.
How old is the child?
18.
All right. And what was the agreement?
The agreement was basically to borrow her
$4,100.
$4,100, and she was to repay in payment starting in December of $100 increments each month. And if she didn't pay that back, then we had to go to court. She was going to pay for all the cost involved in that also. And out of her tax check, I believe, she was going to give me $2,000 towards this loan. So she fulfilled the obligations from December until past month, which she failed to pay. And I contacted Abby, and she said, just do what I have to do, and wouldn't give me any indication of when she was planning on paying it. I tried to get a commitment out of her, and I couldn't. So instead of arguing with her and texting back and forth, I just filed a lawsuit.
Okay, how did she cause you emotional distress?
You can't tell I'm stressed?
Nope, you're smiling. You usually smile when you're stressed?
So to be honest with you, I didn't realize the emotional.
Do you usually smile when you're stressed?
Yes.
All right, so yes, you appear to be stressed if you smile when you're stressed. What are you stressed about today? Right now?
I'm not very stressed.
You said you were. You said that's what you do when you laugh. That's exactly what you said.
It is.
I said, why are you smiling? I said, are you stressed now? You're laughing again. All right, let's hear from you, man. Playing games with me. All right. Go ahead. Let me hear from you about the contract.
I did sign a contract. Days before, he had agreed to pay for it without a contract and charging me extra money to make money off of me. And at 11:30 at night, the night before the surgery, he decided he didn't want to pay because my daughter did call him, and she's only 7 days into 18. And then at 11:30 at night, he said he just didn't think she had learned a lesson from this and wasn't going to. We're sitting in the parking lot the morning of. I would have went to a different family member to borrow money if I knew he was going to back out the day of. And I'm sitting in the parking lot begging for money, and he sends me a DocuSign contract charging me $400 more than the surgery costs just to prepay it for me.
How much did he loan you on this? He loaned you the entire
The
amount?
$4,100, no, $3,735 was paid to the doctor.
This says 40, but this says $4,100.
That he wants to make extra money off of me.
All right. And how much of that have you paid?
$2,700.
All right. Sir, what do you say she's paid?
I believe she's paid $2,700 back. Abigail and I used to be married for 14 years, I think. I lose track of time.
Starting when? What year?
This is surprising.
You remember the year?
Yeah, it was 2003.
He does too. He's just playing crazy just to try and hurt your feelings.
Yeah.
Defendant Abigail Vidito was married to the plaintiff, but she claims their marriage ended due to infidelity and the fact that he wanted her to quit coaching cheerleading.
What is your claim for $1,500? How does he owe you?
So the $500 is what he had agreed to pay me for our daughter's graduation party. It was in the month of July, the month I defaulted on this, and he, at the last minute, again, it was about a week's notice this time, instead of day of, he decided he wasn't paying me. So money was short that month. I did talk to him multiple times and told him money was short because I spent $1,200 on a graduation party, which for a teacher is half a month's pay. So he knew why I was short. I told him I would get him the money. He gave me a 6-day grace period and had already filed papers within 6 days of being late. So the $500 is what he verbally said he would do, and there is a text message that shows he's not paying me anymore because I didn't add him as a friend on Facebook.
What's the emotional distress for?
Emotional distress is everything he put us through that day of begging in the parking lot, begging and begging for money.
Emotional distress between two divorcees with children. It should never be expected that they would have an argument.
You know, can I talk about this?
Yes.
All right, so here's the issue. So the agreement between us was this. There's nothing in writing, but this is the truth agreement. The agreement was she was going to add me to a Facebook page where she had invited people to this party to show that we were co-hosting the party. And in turn, I was going to give her $400 or $500. I don't remember the exact amount, but we'll just run with $500. And she would not do this. So after a week of asking her, I said, instead of continuing arguing with her, I just said, I'm out. Do your own thing. That's it. Not that I don't think I should contribute to my daughter, but I contribute a lot of money to Abigail and my kids. 3 years ago, I gave Abigail $10,000 to get a new car. Here you go, Abby. You're in a financial situation. You need a vehicle. Here's $10,000. I don't want a dime back. Go ahead. Never asked for it back. My daughters need cars. Get them. I spent $20,000 on getting Jada 2 cars. I spent $10,000, $8,500 on getting Tessa a car, my other daughters. You know, so there's money going out. And I'm not asking Abigail to, hey, where's your portion of this? You're her mother. Because I understand that there's responsibilities that she has and I have. She's the primary caregiver. You know, she's taking care of them all the time. She does a lot of little things for them that probably adds up to that sum. But it's everybody contributes in their own way is what I'm saying. I'm not saying that I'm the father and I'm not doing anything. I do what I'm supposed to do for my children.
Sounds like it to me. And with regard to the $500, sir, however, it's based on agreement. And she says you agreed to pay the $500.
Based on the terms of the agreement. The terms of the agreement is we're both going to put this party together, and I'm going to be able to invite people. She never added me. I never
When
got
was
to
the
invite one
was
person.
that a condition that you all agreed to?
No, we were going to do it together. We were still doing it together. I
You
added
said
him.
on the condition that he can invite people.
No.
And somehow you stopped.
I added him to the invite list. I couldn't make him a co-host. I sent him pictures of it, like, I can't add you. I said, tell me the names.
He's saying allow his friends of.
Oh yeah, but I said, give me any names. I'll add them.
Okay,
or
needed the
make your
names.
own Facebook invite.
Got it.
Or I have hard copy invitations you can send to them.
Okay.
It was
You
too
can
much work.
invite. I
What'd he
just
say?
didn't think I needed him as a Facebook
What did
friend.
he say to that about?
He said,
I'll
he
give you an
acknowledged you said
invitation?
all those things, but no, I want to be a Facebook friend, to be added as a co-host, to have the right to push the button.
And what day was the party?
July 10th.
And the text you were referring to is on what page? Where it
is-
says something about money
It is
from him to
on
you.
Page 6, I believe. Let me.
Page 6, maybe assuming I'm still invited to the party. Money, most likely not giving any money towards party. I told you I would, but if we agreed to put party on together, you were supposed to add me.
Exactly.
I never would say I'm adding.
You were supposed to add me so I could invite people, but refused to do it. You did add me as a guest, but I cannot invite people. You did offer to invite people if I told you who, but that don't work for me. If you change your mind quickly on this, we can go back to our arrangement. If not, I'm done discussing it with you. What was your response to him?
I said that? I'm not adding him as a Facebook friend.
And that was the end of that conversation?
Yep. And then he asked if he could still come later on.
Yeah, but him inviting his guests, there was no more discussion of that?
His whole family was invited already.
How does she cause you emotional distress?
You can't tell I'm stressed?
Nope, you're smiling. You usually smile when you're stressed?
Yes.
All right. What are you stressed about today?
I'm not very stressed.
You said you were. I said, are you stressed now? You laughing again.
Defendant Abigail Vidito was married to the plaintiff, but she claims their marriage ended due to infidelity and the fact that he wanted her to quit coaching cheerleading.
He wanted his name on there, so when people got an invitation, they know it's from him. These are his friends. If my brother sends out invitations to somebody for a party, and he says, Greg, you can invite friends, and he gives me invitations, and my name isn't on it, I send that invitation to 100 people, say, and only a few of them are likely to come. They're going to say, I don't really know his brother. I don't have no relationship with his brother. His name ain't on here.
Your Honor, neither of our names.
He's not inviting me because his name ain't even on here. This is something his brother want me to come to. Pardon, ma'am?
Your Honor, neither of our names were on the hard copy invitation. Mine wasn't on there either.
It was on the Facebook one.
Because
Your name.
because it just said I was a host.
Pardon?
It says I was a host on Facebook.
Yeah, and that's what he wanted to be added as the host.
He has a Facebook account. Why couldn't he make his own?
He asked you, ma'am, and you refused, period. He asked you for something very simple, to put him down as a co-host.
Your Honor.
And you wouldn't.
I had
Your
to add
claim
him
is
as a
dismissed for
Facebook
the $500. Yours is granted, sir, $1,400. She agrees that she has not paid it all off. Have a good day. That's my judgment.
I just really hope that at some point you can get past the animosity and kind of like start to move forward.
I'll work on that.
Plaintiff DeLillian Ferguson says since having a heart attack and getting diagnosed with kidney cancer, she's found a new appreciation for life. DeLillian is suing because she claims the defendant hit her car and refuses to pay for the damages. Defendant Mary Williams was hard-headed and didn't listen, and as a result, she was in and out of prison. Mary has since turned her life around, and she insists DeLillian was parked illegally, and that's what led to the accident.
Start with you.
Well, Your Honor, in 08 of April, I had bypass surgery, and I came to appreciate life. I really have. And I had a heart attack, and they revived me. Then this year of July 2021, I was diagnosed with kidney cancer. But they got that out before it got aggressive. So that's an extended appreciation of life. So how
did you have a heart attack so young?
Well, when I had it, I didn't know I had it until they told me when they took the test. And then they needed to do...
How old were you?
I was 44 then. That was in 08.
Did you have blocked arteries or something?
Yes, hereditary. So then when I, found out I had the kidney cancer, that took another blow, just that C word.
Certainly.
But the doctor got it before it got aggressive. So I was like, oh wow, I'll keep getting these chances from the Lord. So I was, I feel like I be being taken advantage of. I try not to hold grudges against people, and I've been trying to really humble myself. I mean, for a lot of things. I mean, people take me for granted. Sometimes I just don't say anything. I just let people walk all over me.
People like who?
I have some family members.
Okay. Other family, friends, or
friends, yes.
A workplace.
Yes, right. And, I don't know Miss Mary. I just met her, So I don't know her from Adam, but I felt as though she did the same thing. Even though I didn't know her, I'm like, okay, she's taking me for granted. So that's why I'm here today.
I'm here from you.
I haven't had an easy life either. And I understand her situation. And, I growing up, being hard-headed, ended up going to prison, not listening. I changed my life as well.
How long were you there?
I was 29, maybe just made 30. Excuse me, and
How old were you when you left?
A year younger. I didn't stay long, 18 months. But I went to jail then in 2006. I ended up going back because still being hard-headed, wasn't listening. I wasn't complying, didn't do what my PO told me to do, so I went back to jail. I got a blessing. My mother ended up passing. They let me go home. What changed my mind while I was in jail, my daughter had my first grandbaby. And at that point, it was just like, I can't be a grandmother and be in jail and having her bring my grandbaby, and it broke me down. I'm not saying that, I'm the world's greatest person, but I have changed. I've changed my life a lot. And I don't feel like, that I took advantage of her, or took her for granted, I should say, or walked over her, because I just felt like I can't give you something I don't have.
Okay, well, we're going to find out what that is and all the details.
People take me for granted. Sometimes I just don't say anything. I just let people walk all over me.
People like who?
I have some family members.
Okay.
And, I don't know Miss Mary. I just met her, So I don't know her from Adam, but I felt as though she did the same thing. Even though I didn't know her, I'm like, okay, she's taking me for granted.
Plaintiff DeLillian Ferguson is suing the defendant for crashing into her car. But the defendant insists DeLillian was parked illegally, and that's what led to the accident.
Let me hear what happened.
Okay, first, Your Honor, I was visiting my grandson, and we were looking out the window, and I was playing with him, looking out the window.
When was this?
I'm sorry. This was this year of May the 4th, 2021.
Okay.
And we were looking out the window, and I just seen the truck just back up and hit my car. And I was like, oh, they hit my car. She got out, and I said, hey, you hit my car. I'll be right down. She said, I'm not going anywhere. First thing she said, I'm sorry. She said, I thought I hit the pole. I started getting on her information, and she was telling me she had insurance. And then I told her to show me, and she showed me on her phone. But I was like, that's 2020. She said, no.
What did you find out? Whether she has insurance or not?
She didn't have insurance, no.
Okay.
No, she didn't have insurance.
She ever agreed to pay?
Yes, she said she would pay. Okay. She said she would pay, and actually I went home and called the people.
What are you showing me?
This is page 15. Everything that you see on here is on the same day.
You have a picture of the accident?
Yes, sir. Page 3 is the way my car was parked, and where her truck is. That's her truck on the right side, on page 3.
Is your car parked legally?
Well, the manager said I could park there because when you
I didn't ask you that. I said, is it parked legally?
Yes, that's what it's no sign.
Manager doesn't determine the law. Is it parked legally?
I guess not.
Okay. Yeah, it's not parked legally.
That's how I've always parked there. You said I could park there because they don't have no handicap right there.
Yeah, if you're negligent too. If your status is illegal and someone hits you when you were parked illegally, you contributed to that. What is your observation of the parking status? I'm just looking here.
She The manager, by the way, is her cousin.
The manager's not a lawyer or a judge. It doesn't matter what that manager says in terms of the law. We're dealing with
Correct.
the law. Isn't this a fire hydrant or something?
Yes, it is. She was parked in a fire zone.
Oh, please. You want how much for parking at a fire hydrant?
There's no fire hydrant there.
And looks like it to me.
No.
And she says it was too, and it looks like it to me.
No, that's not.
You don't
no.
see that right in back of the car with like 6 inches in back of the car.
I see what you're saying, sir. That's not a fire.
What is it then?
I don't know what that is, but that's not.
You don't know what it is,
No, but
it looks like it to me, and it was your car.
Yes.
So that's why I can't rely on that, ma'am. If it looks like it to me, she says it was, you don't know, and it was your car, and you went back to your car after your car was hit. Certainly you would see everything in the surroundings. Since you saw nothing, and I'm looking at something, then I can't rely on what you're saying because something's wrong with your vision.
Plaintiff DeLillian Ferguson is suing the defendant for crashing into her car. But the defendant insists DeLillian was parked illegally, and that's what led to the accident.
When you went to the car, something was wrong with your vision, and something is wrong with your vision today if you don't see that object behind your car.
Sir, I didn't see that.
Okay, that's my point. So I can't rely on every single thing you say.
Okay.
Because you couldn't even see something that was right there when your car was hit. This is no more than 6 inches behind your car. And you don't see it? I'm looking right at it. She said it's the one also. Divide 1929 by 2, please.
All right.
You put your car in harm's way when you parked illegally. Go and sue your cousin for telling you to park there because your cousin gave you bad legal advice. Remember you said that was your defense. My cousin told me I could park there. My cousin told me to park there. I told you it's illegal. But my cousin said what? So go to your cousin and have your cousin give you the other half because he gave you bad legal advice.
I said the manager said, and then it's a new manager there now.
Mm-hmm. Manager's not your cousin?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, the manager, I'm sorry I used the wrong word. Go to the manager. Your non-cousin manager.
No,
it's the same result. Go to your non-cousin manager and say, non-cousin manager, you gave me bad legal advice, non-cousin manager. Would you please pay for this bad legal advice because your bad legal advice contributed to my accident? Why are you looking like that? What don't you understand?
I'm just saying that she said that my cousin was the manager.
All right, we passed that. Remember I said 9? That's an issue we don't have to deal with anymore on the cousin. Okay. So, getting back to the case, however, 1929 divided by 2?
965.
965 is your judgment. It's called contributory negligence. You contributed part of that damage by parking and putting your car in harm's way by parking illegal. You may have a case against the manager for telling you to park somewhere that was illegal and it resulted in damage to your car, and the judge ordered you to pay half of that damage because you put yourself in harm's way. Have a good day. That's my judgment.
I don't know Mary, and she was we were cordial. She didn't say anything out the way. We wasn't fussing at each other or anything. But it is what it is.
I'm sorry about your car, but
yes.
I feel it was fair. I feel we both responsible for your car.
Okay. And I'll accept that.
Plaintiff Jessica Threed says her son is dating the defendant, and they allegedly have a child together. But Jessica petitioned the court for a paternity test because she has doubts. Jessica claims her relationship with her son is strained because she called the police on her son after he threatened the defendant with scissors. And Jessica's suing his girlfriend for the cost of 2 phones. Defendant Adriana Lopez says she is hurt that Jessica is suing her and questioning the paternity of her 6-month-old daughter. Adriana claims her daughter looks just like Jessica's son, who's with Adriana in court today. And she's countersuing for defamation of character.
Start with you.
Your Honor, unfortunately, I'm here today suing my son's girlfriend, allegedly my granddaughter's mother.
Oh, you say allegedly.
Well, because at one point, DeMarcus told me that he thought Audrey was cheating with her.
DeMarcus is whom?
DeMarcus is my son.
Is he here today?
He's here. He's the
That's the
plaintiff.
witness? Okay.
He's the defendant's witness. And he told me that
Who was your witness?
Ben Malone.
Okay, all right. That your husband?
No, he's my boyfriend.
Okay. Our producer said the gentleman was quite handsome.
And he looks like a celebrity judge.
Pardon me?
He looks like another judge.
He look like me?
No, he looks
No.
brown.
Oh, brown. Okay.
Yes.
Because they all think I'm ugly, so I know I guess because I'm so mean, they say they can't think that I'm handsome. All right, so they say.
No, you're very handsome.
All right.
Yes.
And you know the defendant as your son's mate, and what else you want me to know about you all's relationship?
I thought we had a good relationship. I treated her as I would if I had a daughter.
How long have you known her?
Well, I've known her for since I believe it was June or July of 2013.
Okay.
She and DeMarcus, to me, have an Ike and Tina Turner relationship. You know, one day they love each other, one day they don't.
Hopefully they're not physical.
Yes, it was physical on January 29th, where I had to call the police and to have DeMarcus removed from my home. I have the police report here.
What happened?
Well, they were fighting because DeMarcus wanted to use Audrey's car to go see my sister-in-law, which is sick. But she told DeMarcus he couldn't drive the car because he didn't have a license. He doesn't have a valid driver's license. And so they start exchanging words. They start cussing. He picked up the scissor, threatening to kill her or whatever. They have a newborn baby that was on the couch, as well as her 4-year-old daughter that was behind DeMarcus. So I'm stopping them in the middle and saying, oh, wait, stop. In the meantime, I got hurt on my right wrist as well as my left arm. Hurt to the point where I couldn't raise my arm for 3 weeks. I have fibromyalgia and arthritis, so I'm disabled as it is. Eventually, the police did come, and DeMarcus wasn't there. He took a taxi. So at this point, I'm like, this is it. I'm done. Because not only that, this happened before, years ago, before he met Audrey, where he and my other son were fighting. And I got in the middle again and injured, broke several bones in my arm. And so I'm just like, chance after chance. And it hurts me to do this because this is my son. You know, and for a mother to get a restraining order against her son, that's pretty deep. So.
That is. Yes. I applaud you for that. That's what they call tough love. You love him, but you got to be tough.
Thank you.
Defendant Adriana Lopez is being sued by her boyfriend's mother, who petitioned the court for a paternity test because she has doubts about her son fathering Adriana's baby.
You want to say anything, young man? You don't want to defend yourself against your mother saying she had to call the police on you twice because of violence in her house? Good enough. Why don't you give me some background, young lady?
So I'm actually very beyond hurt today that I'm here due to the fact that I'm being sued by Jessica. Number two, at the fact that she's having any questioning with the fact that DeMarcus is the father of our 6-month-old daughter.
That's why I petitioned the court for maternity.
And I have a picture here of our daughter.
Let me see it, please.
And I mean, do you see this? She doesn't look like your son to me because
How did you get
in
involved in this part, though?
She did have her ex-boyfriend spend the night. And then there was another incident on 4th of July of 2013.
Spend the night where?
Spend the night at her house, at her residence.
Your son told you that?
My son told me that. He said, Mom, I'm hurt. What do you think? She said her older daughter's father spent the night at the house. And Mom, I don't know. And I said, I don't know either. At this point, she wasn't pregnant. Another incident after she got pregnant, 3rd of July, he's coming to me crying again because this time he sees Audrey on Instagram. She's pregnant, all hugged up with her oldest daughter's father. And at that time I said, DeMarcus, are you sure this is your baby? Oh no, I want it to be, you know? And I'm like, okay, fine. Okay. And I left it like that. But in the back of my mind, I want to know. I love Zaray. I love my granddaughter.
You want to talk yet?
Yeah.
All right. Like there you go. Stand up. State your name.
DeMarcus 3.
All right. What do you want to tell me?
So she has a friend which they talk almost every day. And put her in the ear to make it seem like that wasn't my daughter. And she went off that. And as time went by, after I found out that the child's father spent the night, I had a little question here and there. But at the end of the day, in my heart, I felt like that was my daughter. And I left it at that.
Okay, so what I did here out of all the who said what said is that you expressed to her that you had a question. All right. What mama gonna say? Well, boy, you better check that out then. Well, if you don't know, I definitely don't know. And if you telling me this woman and did this and you done saw her hugged up on the internet and she done had men at the house, yeah, baby, you better check that out.
Right.
So I got that point then. Thank you. All right. So do you understand now why?
So yeah, I understand.
All right.
However, some of the things aren't technically true.
What part?
The whole my oldest daughter's dad spending the night thing.
What are the phones you're suing about? And then we'll take a look at the paternity test results. But let's get to the phones first. Why are you suing her for 2 phones?
I'm suing her in February of 2014. DeMarcus and Audrey both were at the Sprint dealership, and they convinced me to put her on my family plan. And she assured me, as well as DeMarcus, that they would pay the bill. She did pay one bill, and I believe it was in March. It was $93. And I'm only suing her for $581 because I'm giving her credit for $27. It came out to $93, as well as she did my hair for me. And I gave her a credit on payment on the phone for $100.
So you're not suing for the bill, you're suing for the actual phone.
Because the bill, I'm the one that...
Got it.
Yeah, okay. And then the second phone was an iPhone that DeMarcus is also on my family plan. And they got into an altercation in December 2014. He broke her phone, she broke his. I can't...
Let me see what you have there that you're referring to. Let me hear from you, ma'am.
So I don't feel as though I am responsible for the first phone, Your Honor, because I paid 2 bills. I did not pay one. I paid 2 bills in cash. The third bill was an exchange for me to do her hair, and she paid my bill for me. The 4th bill was out of courtesy for her as a gift to me. She paid the 4th bill. She canceled my line due to me and him having an argument before the bill was even due.
Got that part.
So I was led with no choice but to have to sell the device so that I was able to purchase another device with another carrier. I was 6 months pregnant at the time.
What do you mean you left with no choice? You could have gave the phone to her.
Well, I didn't have no way of contacting her. I didn't want to just show up at her address.
You know where she was located?
Yeah, but I wasn't going to show up without.
You could have waited until the day then. Y'all here today. What else? What about the second phone?
So as far as the second phone goes, you know, me and DeMarcus, of course, had another argument. In the process, he broke my device.
What's she have to do with that?
No, well, the thing is, I broke his phone in retaliation.
No, you broke her phone. It was her phone.
Well, technically, yeah, it was her phone.
Yeah, that's what we're talking technical.
Yeah.
Whenever you're dealing with the law, you're talking technical.
Yeah.
So you broke her phone because of something he did to your phone.
Correct.
Got it. All right.
Defendant Adriana Lopez is being sued by her boyfriend's mother, who petitioned the court for a paternity test because she has doubts about her son fathering Adriana's baby.
Defamation, how does she owe you?
I feel that that was really disrespectful towards me, that she still denied my daughter after me and her had our own conversations about the baby. Even after the baby was born, there was still questioning within the family, you know, saying that if that's DeMarcus's child. That was very hurtful to me, very degrading. And another reason was because I was served the paperwork to my job.
Your job opened up your mail?
No, they actually, they did get the envelope for...
Yeah. And they opened it?
No, but they gave it to me. But my
Wait,
manager
so how
was
did they
present.
know? You must have told them.
No, my manager was present when I got served.
My whole job knows. You must have told somebody on your job. Otherwise, yeah, we got a service and process for you. Oh, okay, what was that? I won $100,000. That's what you should have said. Instead, it's my mother-in-law. Sending me some mess. She gets on my nerve. Yeah, now the whole job does. No, you're right. Then you told everybody who'll listen. I promise you. So, with regard to the defamation, her information came from?
DeMarcus.
There you go. So, you want to sue him? So I'm not going to grant you judgment on that defamation. You have the results?
I'll go get him.
We'll see who's going to be sued. You want to sue him if he's the father because you heard him? All right.
That is just so disrespectful.
Stand up and get ready for your lawsuit. Well, matter of fact, I'm going to put Doyle in between you all because if the answer is no, get over there, Doyle, in between them. They like to fight. You said they like to fight. No, I'm talking about between them two. They're the ones that like to fight. What's all that fighting about? You all get physical with each other? How often does that occur? That's not funny there. How often does that occur?
It doesn't occur often. No, I would say more argument than physical.
All right, as long as you don't get physical. In the meantime, get between them. And let him shake her hand because he is the father. All right, there you go. All right, there you go. Give her a hug so you all are together. Give her a hug, and you give mama her money. Judgment for the plaintiff. You got your money. And your claim is dismissed. What do you have there?
I'm a huge fan. I've been watching your show. Old shows, reruns, whatever.
Oh, I'm so glad I treated you nice. All right. Thank you for your support. I'm going to sign this right here.
Thank you, Judge.
Jessica, God bless. And get your money. There you go. Oh, goodness.
Thank you.
Me and DeMarcus, this is my man. I love him to death. No one's perfect. We have problems, but we're definitely learning. We're still young, and we have a beautiful daughter together, and we're going to make things work regardless.
Right.
I'm glad that's my granddaughter. I still need to work on my relationship with my son and Audrey. And right now, there's no chance of reconciliation between my son and I until he addresses his issues.
We recently spoke with both plaintiff Jessica Threed and defendant Audriana Lopez, who both told us that shortly after their case was heard, Audriana and Jessica's son DeMarcus broke up. Jessica told us that since appearing before Judge Mathis, she and Audriana have been cordial and now have a decent relationship, and she sees her granddaughter every chance she gets. Audriana told us that DeMarcus still causes drama, so much so that she had to file a restraining order against him in April of 2021 after he showed up at her job. She also said that they're going back to court because DeMarcus is trying to get joint custody of their daughter.